Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience in the start of this important ceremony for us here at USDA. Sometime life intervenes, and today was one of those days, but I'm pleased that we're able to get started. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies and honored guests. Welcome to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. My name is Jason Hafmeister. I'm the Acting Deputy Under Secretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs here at the mighty USDA. It is our honor and privilege today to host today's announcement from the World Food Prize, the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate. The Secretary, who you'll be speaking, you'll hear shortly, is here along with Ambassador Kenneth Quinn, who's the President of the World Food Prize. This is our first chance to host this announcement, which is a great honor for us, given how so many of the World Food Prize objectives are written into the DNA of what we do here at USDA. For us, when we think about some of the objectives of this prize, about increasing agricultural research and development, spurring innovation, ensuring the elimination of hunger and malnutrition, these get to the very purposes of why the department was established, why so many of us show up to work every day, and how we're so honored to work with you all on these objectives. You know USDA has a number of technical agencies who are in the trenches working on scientific research on these areas. You know that the rest of our agencies are all focused in implementing these goals of improving scientific field of knowledge, of disseminating to producers in the U.S. and around the world, of creating market conditions where all producers have the opportunity to compete and provide their food to customers, and so all customers have access to food and fiber and other products of agriculture. So this is core to the objective of USDA. Our research has supported American farmers and ranchers to be among the best in the world, and our products are available around the world to feed the hungry, and we will continue to do that, and we are proud of that responsibility. Today, we're talking about probably the most prestigious agricultural award, the World Food Prize. And what we're so pleased with is how it highlights the importance that agriculture, the basis of commerce and manufacturing, if you look at our seal, how it is important in expanding economic development, reducing poverty, and offering a promising future for people all over the world. And I think we may have some past laureates here with us today. If so, I'd ask them to stand. All right, great. So that's a distinguished group, people who have done great work and continue to do great work, and we're proud today to learn of someone who's been added to that list. So today, it's my honor to introduce Ambassador Kenneth Quinn. Ambassador Quinn has a long, distinguished service both in government and in private sector. While in government, he had many accomplishments, working in our National Security Council at the White House, chairman of the U.S. Interagency Task Force on POWs and MIAs. He was the U.S. Ambassador to the Kingdom of Cambodia and has received a number of honors and awards for his service, including the Presidential Distinguished Service Award, the Secretary of State's Award for Heroism and Valor, and the U.S. Army Air Medal. He has been president of the World Food Prize Foundation since 2000. He has worked tirelessly to alleviate hunger and malnutrition by recognizing significant achievements in agriculture and nutrition. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Kenneth Quinn.
So, Jason, thank you so much for that very nice introduction. Secretary Perdue, Congressman King, Congressman Darren Soto, Mrs. Grassley, Senator Charles Grassley was here before. That's Charge d'Affaires, Hakeem Balbagan, Minister Ngozi, thank you so much for all of you, ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, friends and sponsors of the World Food Prize. Thank you all for being here today. On behalf of our chairman, John Ruan III, Paul Schickler, former president of DuPont Pioneer, member of our Council of Advisors, my wife, Lei Sun, all of us at the World Food Prize, Mr. Secretary, we extend to you our warmest congratulations on your appointment as Secretary of Agriculture and our deepest appreciation to you for hosting our Laureate Announcement ceremony here at the Department of Agriculture. So, this was originally scheduled for 11:30, and Saturday night I got a call from a member of your staff saying, the President's having a meeting, we've got to change everything. So all day yesterday I was interacting with Jocelyn Brown and Michelle Calhoun and Ryan Brewster, Christine Mumma, Jared Jones, all folks from Holly Higgins' organization of the Foreign Ag Service. So I don't know if you pay overtime at USDA. They never paid at state when I was there, but if they submit for extra hours on the weekend, I want you to know it's legitimate. So, but no, they're terrific to work with. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Chivanda Jacobs-Young, who is here. That's a great friend of ours, an administrator of the Ag Research Service. We work together implementing the USDA Wallace Carver program. And this is a wonderful collaboration between World Food Prize and USDA, under which now close to 200 of the top college students in America have had 12-week assignments during the summer at USDA research facilities. This year, there are 31 Wallace Carver Fellows, and some of our alumni from our youth program, they're here someplace. Put up your hand. Here they are, over here. So, we're a small organization, Mr. Secretary. There's only 10 people on the World Food Prize staff, but we have programs in 22 states, and we impact over 20,000 high school students every year with the legacy of Dr. Borlaug. And so we're so grateful for the partners we have at the land-grant institutions and also here at USDA to carry forward Norman Borlaug's legacy and inspire the next generation. Now, it seems so appropriate to have this event here at USDA because at his 95th and last birthday party on March 25th, 2009, Norman Borlaug talked about how he started his career at the U.S. Forest Service. He had been a summer intern twice. They didn't have Wallace Carver Fellows, he would have been one, but he was a summer intern in the U.S. Forest Service. And as he graduated from the University of Minnesota, he got an employment offer to become a full-time employee of USDA, and he accepted. And with the acceptance, he married his wife, Margaret, and they were all set to move here. And then he got a notice in the mail that said there was a problem with the congressional appropriation. Now, I don't know, Congressman King, you never hear that, right? So they told him he had to wait and delay. So Norm told me this story. So he goes to a lecture at the University of Minnesota. He hears this inspiring talk. He gives up his job at USDA. He gets a PhD in plant pathology. He goes to Mexico. He develops miracle wheat, brings it to India and South Asia just as they're facing this incredible widespread famine, and millions and millions of lives are saved. So I guess the lesson is, it's not every problem with an appropriation is such a bad thing, right? Prime Minister Modi's in town from India today. It'd be interesting tonight when he's having dinner with President Trump to note that there's a statue of Norman Borlaug in the U.S. Capitol, and there's a statue of Norman Borlaug in New Delhi at the Indian Institute of Agricultural Science. Put up there. I mean, how many things like that? How many Americans have statues? And there's one in Mexico, too, put up by the farmers there. And to have this incredible connection. But for igniting the Green Revolution with his miracle wheat, that farm boy from Howard County in northeast Iowa, Sam Clovis, I know you know where that is, as does Kasia Kane. Where's Kasia? There she is, one of the teachers in our education program. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. and then believing issues of global hunger, malnutrition needed an annual recognition, a Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture, Borlaug established the World Food Prize in 1986, $250,000 award. And in the 30 years since then, 45 individuals have been honored as World Food Prize Laureates for their achievements that have increased the quality, the quantity, and the availability of food worldwide. They come from 18 different countries, and they've spearheaded the single greatest period of food production and hunger reduction in all human history. From eliminating cattle plague, rinderpest from Africa, to developing miracle rice in the Philippines, to discovering and unlocking the incredible potential of biotechnology, and to eliminating the screwworm infestation in the United States, the World Food Prize laureates have been at the forefront of virtually every significant agricultural breakthrough achievement in the last 3 decades. Now, Jason, you stole my thunder by introducing the laureates here. So, Per Pinstrup Anderson is here, Gabisa Ejeta, Dr. Jan Lowe, Dr. Howarth Buis. I'm so pleased that you could be here today for this announcement. Now, Mr. Secretary, there's also, though, a connection of World Food Prize laureates to USDA. There are 4 individuals from USDA who have won the World Food Prize. And Dr. Ed Nippling, Dr. Ray Bushland, Dr. Henry Hank Beechel, and Catherine Bertini. And, you know, Catherine, after serving as an assistant administrator here at USDA, was nominated by President George Herbert Walker Bush, who, by the way, is a member of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors, to be the executive director of the UN World Food Program. And she was the 2003 laureate for making the World Food Program the most effective program at delivering emergency food to hungry and starving people in all history. And now Africa is once again facing terrible famine in places. And I know that Governor David Beasley is there and carrying on, and with this mechanism that a member of USDA had then developed and put in place. And if we're going to be able to deal with again this famine, it'll be thanks to the work that Catherine Bertini, a USDA alum, did. So, but beyond our laureates from USDA, beyond our Wallace Carver Fellows, I'm very proud that we've had a relationship with virtually all your predecessors back to the time I became president in 1999. Secretary Dan Glickman, who was going to be here originally, asked me to send his greetings to everyone, was there in 2000. 2004, Secretary Veneman and Secretary of State Colin Powell were together to announce our laureate, and then we came here to this space and launched the Borlaug Fellows Program with State Department and USAID. I'm so glad Ambassador Pat Haslick and Administrator Beth Dunford could be here today for this as well. 2007, there's Mike Johans, Secretary. I was sitting with him when Norm Borlaug got the Congressional Gold Medal, but I have to tell you, it probably says over there Nebraska, because he was governor of Nebraska and senator, but Mike Johans is an Iowan, born in Osage, right? Yes. And he's a great friend of ours. Ed Schaefer, who's back here, spoke at the Borlaug Dialogue in Des Moines, as did Secretary Vilsack, and who also spoke when we unveiled Norman Borlaug's statue with Ambassador Terry Branstad at the U.S. Capitol. So Mr. Secretary, I'm greatly honored to continue this tradition with you and announce the name of the 46th person and the 6th African to win the World Food Prize. Yeah, pretty cool. When I started, there were no laureates from Africa. We have 6, and more coming. Our laureate, having grown up in poverty himself, learned the critical value of education, and having attained a college degree in his home country, he then obtained graduate degree from Purdue University, and I know Dean Jay Ackridge is here today representing Purdue, and then embarked on a journey to use his academic training to, as he said, lift up millions of people out of poverty, especially farmers in rural Africa. And our laureate has been drawn to action throughout his career. In his position with the Rockefeller Foundation, he played a central role in organizing the African Fertilizer Summit in 2006, at which the political will to bring a green revolution to Africa was galvanized. And Dr. Borlaug was there, along with President Olusegun Obasanjo, also a member of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors. And Dr. Borlaug gave a talk, and President Obasanjo came up and said, "We've been called to action." And at the end, our new laureate was embraced by Dr. Borlaug, thanking him for his efforts. And our laureate next played a leadership role in the development of AGRA, the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, during which he led the effort to exponentially expand commercial credit for agriculture and for farmers across the continent. And then, as Minister of Agriculture of his home country, our laureate introduced the e-wallet system, which broke the back of corrupt elements that had controlled the fertilizer distribution system for 40 years. And that and other reforms he implemented increased food production by 21 million metric tons and led to and attracted $5.6 billion in private sector investments that earned him the reputation as the farmer's minister. And now, as the first person from agriculture to ever lead a regional development bank, his receiving the World Food Prize will give impetus in the coming decade to his profound vision for enhancing nutrition, eliminating childhood stunting, uplifting smallholder farmers, empowering women, and inspiring the next generation of young Africans as they confront the unprecedented challenges of the 21st century. For all of those achievements, World Food Prize Laureate Pedro Sanchez has called our new laureate, quote, Africa's Norman Borlaug. It is therefore my great personal honor to announce that the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate is the former Vice President of AGRA, the former Minister of Agriculture of Nigeria, and the current President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. I'm pretty sure he's watching on the live stream, so Akin, you know, you're now public. I'm so pleased, Mr. Charge d'Affaires, that you could be here today for this announcement. I want to let everyone know that Dr. Adesina will be presented our $250,000 prize and the laureate sculpture at a ceremony in the magnificent Iowa State Capitol in Des Moines on the evening of October 19th. Now, Mr. Secretary, I know you're just in Iowa last Wednesday, but we're hoping that you might come back in October and speak at our symposium and attend our laureate award ceremony, which some have dubbed the Oscars of Agriculture. Now, as all of you leave, you'll receive a brochure with information about our laureate, some on the back about our symposium title, and registration will open on July 12th. You go to worldfoodprize.org/register, and if you go there today, you'll find the first entry in our Borlaug blog, a new series of ideas meant to inspire conversation and discussion. And there's also in here a wonderful quote by World Bank President Jim Yong Kim, By the way, did you know Jim Kim, the president of banks, also from Iowa? Grew up in Muscatine. No one knows that. I think he's from Seoul and that. But I'm so pleased Jürgen Vogelé and my friends from the bank could be here today. Please tell President Kim of our very best wishes and our gratitude to have that. So now it's my special privilege to introduce to you the United States Secretary of Agriculture, who I met for the first time 10 minutes ago. So I did a little research to be able to do this, and have to say that if there's a form for what should be the qualifications to be Secretary of Agriculture, that Sonny Perdue has checked all the boxes. I mean, grown up on a dairy and row crop farm, earned a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from the University of Georgia, attained the rank of captain in the U.S. Air Force, serving his country, managed an agribusiness, served as a state legislator, and then elected for 2 terms as the governor of Georgia. What a remarkably broad preparation for this position. But what was especially brought home to me as a former diplomat was his understanding of the relationship between agriculture, food, and peace. As I read the announcement of his being sworn in to office on April 25th, Secretary Perdue stated, and I quote, "Food security is a key component of national security because hunger and peace do not long coexist," close quote. This is an insight which embodies the legacy of Norman Borlaug and his vision for the World Food Prize. It's the precept which binds all of us together here today. And it is why it's my privilege to introduce to you the 31st Secretary of Agriculture of the United States, the Honorable Sonny Perdue.
Thank you, Ambassador Quinn, and welcome to the historic Whidden Building. We are honored today to host this announcement here. I'm going to reward your patience for waiting on my delay for quite a while, and I'm going to throw away my hour-long speech and only talk for 45 minutes. To Ms. Grassley, representing Senator Grassley, to our members of Congress, to our diplomatic corps, and certainly to our former laureates. It's an honor to be in your midst today, and this is a significant announcement, and we are just delighted that you were able to stay here and wait. I was in with the President in a significant meeting, and after I didn't think it was too polite to leave when the President was making a point, so we hung there, and I'm glad that you all hung here in order to me to come and to just to express my congratulations, but also acknowledgement of what an honor this prize is, and for all of our former recipients, congratulations to you and to all of you there. It sounds like this year's recipient, Dr. Adesina, probably should have been the Secretary of Agriculture. I would have nominated him, but obviously being recognized for these 2 decades or longer of work in helping to feed the people of Africa and specifically in Nigeria, and Ambassador Quinn has done a wonderful job in talking about those accolades that this individual has made in the world, and particularly his region of the world. Ambassador Quinn, you were very complimentary of our staff, as I am, and I find that they are adapting very well to the new personnel policy. There's no overtime; it's just 24/7, and that's what they do. And I'm very grateful to serve in an agency with committed career staff. It's teaching me so much about the USDA and its role and its mission worldwide in the mission of feeding people everywhere. As you know, Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, Dr. Adesina was instrumental in expanding those food production, as Ambassador Quinn mentioned, by 21 million tons did this by attracting significant private sector investment and working to expand the availability of credit for smallholder farms across the African continent. And we know when people are unleashed with the entrepreneurial spirit and given just a hand up, how they perform, and he demonstrated that extremely well. He also built up the political will to transform agriculture in Africa, and then being affectionately known as the farmer's minister. What a compliment to Dr. Adesina in being known that. So I think it's very appropriate for to do this here in the Witten building at the USDA today. Obviously, when this department was stood up in 1862. We know what the turmoil around the United States of America, but President Lincoln talked about this being the people's department, and I think that's keeping with Dr. Adesina's mission and his all of his work as well. So I want to just tell you that what he did and what he has done, I think fits right in with what we're trying to do here at USDA, our mission and our efforts each and every day here domestically and around the world, because we all have a challenge. Dr. Adesina knows that our work is not done. The challenge of feeding 9 billion people in just a very short time will continue as we address the hunger issue. So at USDA, we keep that in mind as the world population grows, and we want to be a huge contributor in providing the food needed to resolve and to supply the global demand for that vital, noble resource. So I'm sure that Dr. Adesina would agree that his work and ours is not finished yet, maybe never, but there's a lot left to be done. But I'm going to leave you with this final thought, and I believe he would agree with this. We've adopted a new motto for the United States Department of Agriculture, and I think it fits very nobly and very appropriately with Dr. Adesina's work, and that is, do right and feed everyone. So thank you all for allowing me to speak with you today. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations, Dr. Adesina.
Great. Thank you, Secretary Perdue. Thank you, Ambassador Quinn. Thank you all for coming to participate in this event here at USDA. Certainly we have laureates here, we've got leadership here, but also lots of people who work every day in achieving these objectives of making food available, improving livelihoods in rural communities, and creating opportunities worldwide. So thank you all to the participants for coming. We welcome you now to join us in the back of the room for a reception.